Hi everyone and welcome to the 22nd edition of the Tiny Lab Talks. Tiny Lab Talks are brief informal talks between two specialists, one invited by the University of Aveiro and one from the University of Aveiro itself, through the American Corner program on topics such as technologies, innovation, research and culture. The conversations will usually take place at AAUAV's American Corner MediaLab with the support of the US Embassy in Portugal. Today, the topic of our talk is being a musician today, challenges of an artistic career. We have today a full audience here with us, and I want to give a warm welcome to both our guests today. I'm here joined by Shai Maestro and Henrique Portovedo. Shai Maestro is one of the most promising and talented pianists of his generation. Since his debut with his own trio in 2011, Shai has shaped a strong and unique personal identity and has portrayed an incredible musical fluidity, making Shai and his band one of the most powerful and harmonious groups in jazz today. He is one of our international participants in Camp Jazz, the jazz festival of the University of Aveiro, conducting a masterclass and a workshop, joining schools' presentations and presenting a concert tomorrow night with the University of Aveiro Jazz Orchestra. Henrique Portovedo is a professor at the University of Aveiro and a guest professor at the Real Conservatorio Superior de Música de Madrid. He holds a PhD in the field of science and technology of the arts, performance and computer music from the Portuguese Catholic University. Portovedo has also held various research positions, including the Fulbright researcher at the University of Santa Barbara, California, an Erasmus researcher at the University of Edinburgh, and a visiting researcher at both the ZKM Karlsruhe and McGill University, Montreal. In recognition of his work, Portovedo has been awarded several prizes, including from the Portuguese National Centre of Culture and the British Society for Education, Music and Psychology. As a performer and intermediate artist, Portovedo has presented multidisciplinary creations in festivals worldwide, and he has performed as a soloist with some of the most important contemporary ensembles in Europe. Thank you for being here. By the way, I'm Afonso Ribeiro. I'm a student here, a music student here at university, and I want to start with a question that I believe a lot of music students have, especially around my age, which is how do you start? How did you start your career? How do you start one? And what obstacles did you face when you started?
You got it.
I would like to say that it was not a long time ago, but I will obviously lying. It was quite a long time, obviously because the world changed a lot. So I think when I started to pursue a professional career, basically I was MySpace and this kind of platforms for digital distribution were more or less appearing. So it's completely different than today. But I started to make my way creating multidimensional shows around contemporary music. So I started to work obviously with other creators and making audiovisual experiences for the people while performing contemporary music. So that's how I started. And those platforms, I would say, helped a lot. So Facebook, it was already in the beginning, so there was a lot of impact when you had something to publish, and Bandcamp as well. So definitely I took profit of those platforms those days.
And what were the obstacles you found?
The obstacles, well, I always felt that the main obstacle is that I was always presenting something that was not very common, especially for musicians or for music audience, generally in classical music. So people were trying to put me in a catalog, and I didn't fit very well. So in one end, it was like a difficult thing, but in the other end, it was something nice, because then automatically I was like having a personal voice. So.
What about you, Shai?
How I started?
Yes.
Oh, how do you start career, you mean? Yeah, it's a very confusing world these days. Like, there's a sense of that I hear a lot from people that they, like, it's very success oriented. Like, I need to be successful. Like, how do I run a successful career? And you hear it from young people a lot. and it's not their fault. Like, you open Instagram and it's like, how many likes do I have? How many comments do I have? And I'm on Instagram. I'm on all of those. So it's not like I'm coming from the outside. I'm like purist or something. But what the early years for me were just with the piano. Yes. I was just like really. I discovered like Oscar Peterson, and I discovered Herbie Hancock, and I discovered Shostakovich and Beethoven and Mozart and Debussy, and then Chick Corea and Brett Meldau, and every artist that came my way was just like my brain exploded, and it was really about the music at the beginning. And I might be speaking like an old man. Like,
You're not.
Maybe I am. Maybe like it's a different world today when, when it's like 30 seconds burning solo on Instagram and you get like 1,000 likes and that's a career, maybe. But I tend to believe that if you start from the craft itself, first of all, you're going to have a great life because even if you don't become successful, you're going to play good music and that will attract good people to play with. But it often gets lost. There is meaning for social media and there is meaning to being present. And of course, if one of the reasons I'm here is because I played with this blah 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 project in somewhere, and then Joao saw it and on Instagram or whatever. And so I'm not naive. But I would say, like, if you talk about beginnings of the career, just focus on the music. Focus on just become the best musician you can. And then market yourself a little later.
Yes.
I don't know, seeing like 14-year-old kids posting stuff on Instagram is like, it's like too early.
Yes. And what were the main obstacles
in my career? Musical first. I want to play this Coltrane solo and I can't. I want to play this Bartok piece and I can't. Okay, so technique, sound production, all the content itself. And then the obstacles later is, you start a career and this club owner doesn't call you and like, we all deal with it. But that's like, it's almost like a stage later to think about it. I would, if anyone young is listening at home, just like, my advice is like, focus on the music first. It's just a good thing to do for yourself. Before.
And now, comparing to today, I'm sure you've worked with a lot of artists and young artists also that maybe were starting their career. What are the main differences you feel from like starting a career today than starting a career when you started, or 10 years ago? What do you feel are the main differences? What is easier? What is more difficult? Because with social media, some things get like really superficial, but maybe it helps in another way. What do you feel it was? What did help and what didn't?
Well, I believe that today there's much better musicians in terms of preparation. The way students finish their studies, I think they were in general better prepared. So the amount of good musicians, I believe, it's bigger today than when I finished 20 years ago, definitely. But there's a climb. I think it's easier today to fall in the climb after reaching that level, finishing the studies, and then you are alone, and it's very easy to fall the climb. And maybe we, in my age, we were not so many actually, and people that could enter in the conservatory or wherever could start to play with other musicians, could start to develop and to present things. In the end, it was more secure himself, and today I think there's a lack of self-confidence after finishing, especially the study. So it's very easy to do nothing after. So I think that's the main challenge.
So do you feel like careers can be like shortened really fast?
I mean, I think that most of the people doesn't enter even on the career.
Okay.
We make a confusion about being in a study environment, in a conservatory or in a university, but that is not yet the career. Universities and conservatories are giving you tools to eventually for you to start the career. And when I was studying, actually, most of us we were working at the same time already as studying. So there was more space for musicians, let's say, and this will gives you experience and self confidence on deciding what to do or what not to do. And that's the for me the when I think on my students, that's always what I'm worried about them.
And about the talking about contemporary music, is your field. Do people are more receptive, especially in Portugal? Do you feel the contemporary music is?
Then I say the same as Shai said. I mean, people have to be musicians. If you are a performer or a composer, you have to be very secure about how much control of the material you have. So you have to concentrate to deal with the material, with your instrument as much as possible. And then when people realize that it's serious work, automatically people will engage with that. I don't think contemporary music is different from jazz or from other music. So it's all the same. These days we explore sonorities and the world turns. Sometimes we go for a tonal atmosphere. Sometimes we go out of the tonal atmosphere. So I don't make any difference between contemporary music or classical music or jazz. I always think that people and public will engage with what they understand. There's an effort, and the performers or the composers are giving their best to make that, and then the rest it happens.
Shai, do you think people understand jazz better nowadays than they did 20 years ago?
I don't know. It depends on the people who you play for. It's like I thought I could decide on what journey I want people to pass in my concerts early in my career, and these days I'm like, nah, you have no control of anything. Like if you play a happy melody, it could be a sad moment for someone because this happy melody reminds them of their whatever father. Whatever. If you play like a sad melody, it can be like controlling the emotions and like pretending like you know how it's gonna be perceived is just like it's not up to you really. And I just find that the artists that I'm attracted to listen to are authentic. If it's like Paco de Lucia playing flamenco, or it's like if it's Tony Williams playing, with Miles Davis, or if it's Jascha Heifetz playing, but it's like I feel like all these guys are just like really authentic, and it meets the audience where it meets the audience. You never know, like it's really subjective.
And do you feel, due to going back to the social media, do you feel that both feel that is we are experiencing less authenticity
Yes.
today?
Yes.
And why do you think?
Because it's a word, not response. Gratification generated, like oriented, like response oriented. Like there's something about social media that is poison and it's toxic, and it's like you put something and the definition of if it's good or not is how much feedback you got. It's crazy. It's like you don't have a moment to connect to your art because you do something and then you upload it immediately. And art is really personal, man. It's like it's a journey. Like if you talk about like ChatGPT or like the AI and all this like mid-journey like art creation, it's all goal-oriented. Like you get to the final product with no way leading to it. Like I'm created this amazing masterpiece, Man, music gave me a community. Music gave me a beautiful life. Music took me to New York. Music made me friends. Music made me meet my partner. Music made me, just, all these things. That if you just focus on the goal and you focus on the likes and you focus on the stuff, you're just missing out. It's not the point, It's and it's kind of sad to see it. And I'm all into this AI thing. I'm really learning it a lot, and like it can be used to be great.
That's perfect, because my next question is, how much does AI impact today a musician's career? We know that there are several programs and systems that can create samples and tracks based on descriptions. And when does the help and inspiration becomes like not plagiarism, but using only what AI provides you, and the lack of creativity from the human itself? How much can AI help us, and how much can AI destroy us?
Oh yeah. Should I go?
Yeah,
you
it's a
can start.
difficult one.
Man, I'm all in these questions all the time. The first thing the bad thing that it does is that when you read your introduction, I was like, did ChatGPT write this or did he write it? And it's not because, I don't know, we just met, but I know that the abilities of artificial intelligence, and it created distrust between us. And you haven't done nothing wrong. I don't know if you did, it doesn't matter if you did or not. But my thing was like, did he write it, or did he write an introduction about Shai Maestro, boom, enter, and then you read it to the camera. And that's terrible. That's terrible because it takes something human and of trust that I'm like, you took the time, you read my biography, whatever, you listen to the music to generate. And it's the same with art, this whole Kanye West, Jay-Z, AI stuff that was floating around in the net, and it's great music. I love this AI Jay-Z. I think it's a great track, but it's messing up my mind because I don't know what's human or not anymore. But there's no escaping it. The genie is out of the bottle. And it's just going to get more and more crazy and more advanced and more, all this kind of stuff. And the question is, I think, if you get nuggets of inspiration, you get I don't know, hey ChatGPT, prepare a practice routine for me to how to learn, Beethoven Sonata number 7. Divide it into days and exact timings, enter. It spits out this entire thing. The thing is to now do it. And to use GPT or whatever, artificial intelligence as okay, I have a teacher here. I have a music teacher or a Spanish teacher or a swimming teacher or whatever. That's hyper intelligent and can just arrange a schedule for me. But you have to do it. So the optimistic part of it came from my mother, actually, because I discovered Midjourney, this image creation thing, and I was going crazy about it. And I told my mom, and then she was like, "Oh, great!" And she's an artist. She does visual arts, and then she downloaded it, and what she did is she wrote this prompt, and she got this Marc Chagall whatever image of two people in front of a bridge. I don't remember. And then she downloaded the photo, she took the software away, she printed the photo, she put it on the canvas, and she just drew it with her own hands, and she learned new techniques from it. Which to me is oh great use of artificial intelligence, fantastic. So you put in something that inspires you, you get the thing, but you work with it, you do something with it. Mm-hmm. Problem is that people just take more and more. This is the problem of our society. Spotify, all the music in the world. Just eat it, YouTube, all the videos in the world. ChatGPT is endless, a video. And you become less and less process oriented, like I said before, less and less human. And it's kind of just goal. It's imagine I tell you, you can go on all the top of the, on top of the Everest, on top of the Kilimanjaro, all the big mountains. But I'm just pressing a button, then you're there. And you're like, great, Everest, boom, next. Great, I'm here, boom, next. Nothing happened on the way. No training, no effort, no nothing, you know? And that's really sad. And so it's what you do with it. I can talk about 4 hours, but
Do you think humanity is ready for the AI, or
I think so. Yeah, if humanity created it, so yes, but it's a. I think this is more on the sociologic side than on an artistic side, because it mixes a lot of things. But maybe we are an algorithm of God. There's people that defend that perspective. But there's a great thing about being an algorithm of God, and that thing is to have a life. And my life can be completely different than your life, and at least I feel that I can change my life suddenly. I can start to produce completely other things, and that's the thing that I don't know yet if artificial intelligence will be able to create surprises to people, because in the end you expect more or less, you expect what kind of piece of art you are having, because you give the instructions, and we collect instructions, but we can destroy in one moment all these instructions and make a completely different thing. And it's not because of ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a consequence of the sociological evolution of people that Shai was mentioning, that people were not looking for something different anymore. You get like prized to be in the mainstream, in the system, and maybe in my generation a bit we were prized by being out of the mainstream. So we were liking, if I liked Blur and you liked Oasis, we are in different teams, and I think like all the people are more or less now in the same team, and that team is ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is a consequence, a natural consequence of how we played with our rules to create things. So I don't know. I have to accept it. I have to I have to create. I do algorithmic music. So, but in my concept of algorithm, I really give the instructions. I decide what kind of tonal center I want to develop. I give calculus to the machine, but to make my music. And now with GPT, you make GPT music. It's not mine or Shai, or it's GPT music. So I hope that in the end people will always be more involved with something that comes from Shai or from Henrique or from Afonso or from one of these people. But that's emotional relation with life. It's how you engage with life.
Yeah.
You talked about the consequence. A man once looked at me and said, "I wish I was your age, but knowing what I know today." So my final question to you is, if you could go back in time and meet your younger selves, what advice would you give them to start their career? Henrique.
Yeah, make a life. Do mistakes, please. Don't follow the rules. Get jailed once, maybe, for something not very bad. I mean,
Get jailed?
No, not very bad, just for the experience. Yes. I know, nothing really bad. So just like something stupid that you can do without making like a big deal to no one.
Steal a pastel de nata.
Yes, something like this. Go into the supermarket and take one bottle of wine for free. Something like this.
Great.
But I mean, this is like, do things. I mean, do your life. Go alone to your favorite places, and that's it. I think people needs that after COVID. I think.
To me, it's two things. One is create a community, like as quick as you can and as big as intimate as you can, and as close as you can. And the second is talk to yourself with compassion. there's no need for the toxic, violent inner dialogue of you're great or you're terrible or blah blah blah. Like, just do it with compassion.
Does the audience have any question? No? In YouTube? Nothing? Well, thank you so much, Henrique, Shai. Thank you so much. And thank you for the incredible audience that is here today. We would like to invite everyone to the concert with Shai Maestro and the Jazz Orchestra of the University of Aveiro tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. in the Rectory Hall. You won't regret it. It will be full of surprises, I guarantee you. And that's it. Thank you for being here. See you in Campus Jazz, the University of Aveiro Jazz Festival on stage in Aveiro until June 16th.